All right, I got a topic. Start the podcast.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it about kittens?
No. I can find a topic for that too.
Kittens?
Kitten mittens?
Do we want to start with a Q&A?
No, we're
Yeah,
going to
let's
do
just
my
start.
topic.
He's going to do his topic. Just introduce
Oh,
us.
Jesus Christ. Are we rolling?
Yep. Action.
Welcome back to the Bar Talk podcast. I'm your reluctant host today, Andy. I don't know what we're doing, so I don't want to be like, I'm your super
planned this.
You don't have to tell
positive.
anybody
I
that.
didn't
They don't
plan
know
this.
that.
I have nothing to do with this.
You planned this.
Technically, we planned this.
No.
I just showed up today.
You just changed the time slot.
Nope. I recall getting a group text from someone saying Friday at 12, and that was you. So when my
No.
you planned.
My response was, I can't do 11. So those voices, I'm sure you've recognized at least one. Dan Mahoney, Stats.
Am I the recognizable one?
I don't know. I don't know what their life is. I don't know which one they recognize.
It's me.
Yeah. Jess Hamill of New World Tavern, general manager, where we're recording in the back.
That cackle you recognize.
In the cavern.
The cackle.
in
Yep,
the newly renovated cavern with some really cool artwork.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
I did it.
right.
It's my name's on the wall.
And that silence you hear is Karl Heine of New World Tavern and Tulsa's Tap and Tavern.
Hey, everybody.
So,
The
go.
best is how nervous Karl is for me to have a topic
I'm petrified.
of all the things that he just fired
Because I feel
off
like it's
from
going to
the
be
hip.
I fucking hate flowers. And
Wow.
you're going to shit on
Stop.
flowers for 5 minutes and then we're going to be
Listen, guys, I can
dead
do
air.
all these things. Kittens,
All right,
flowers,
the
whatever you wanna
topic of
talk
the
to.
day is
All right. Well, this is a bar talk topic surprisingly. The other day, me and Jess were out, and we decided that people don't know how to bartend anymore.
It's true. That is very true. That's
So-
one of the few things I remember from the other day.
Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
in the example.
An example is the easiest step of a drink is people don't shake it anymore.
What do they do?
They fucking
They
give you a
just
cup
build
with it
it
all
and-
mixed in, and here you go.
Oh, they just
straw.
pour it in and
give you a straw stir, and that's it.
Interesting.
Or I've also seen bartenders shake the absolute shit out of a regular martini,
Yep.
a vodka martini. And you're so not supposed to do that.
Or just not know what's in a vodka martini.
So where do you? Why? I suppose that's the question. Why do you think there's this? Is it people left the industry and there's no one good to train them? Is it people just don't care?
I think everyone went to bartending school, and that's a joke. So they know how to make woo-woos.
Right.
The hell's
Tequila
What's a
sunrise.
woo-woo?
Right.
Listen, you didn't go to bartending school, so
I
you
know.
don't need to know. No.
You've seen my bartending
Yeah.
skills.
I believe a woo-woo is vodka, peach tree, and cranberry.
Oh, okay.
It's a shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they're just
Or-
relying
right.
on their phone tome and the phone.
Yeah.
They don't read the steps. They read the ingredients.
the ingredients?
Done. Here you
Yeah.
go.
Well, I think a lot of it is because, around here anyway, and I guess maybe in Boston too. There's so many places that are more geared towards quick service, so you don't necessarily need to have experience in a quick service bar.
True.
You could have like cocktail experience, restaurant experience, probably yes. But if you work at a place like New World Tavern, we don't really have fancy cocktails. We just open up bottles of beer and do your basic vodka tonics and whatever. But if someone were to ask for something, any of my bartenders said something fancy or something way out of the ordinary than what we're used to, yeah, they have no idea. So, but I also think the hiring thing might be a thing too. A lot of people after
I
COVID
definitely
were
think that.
yeah, they were you know what, this isn't for me anymore. And they're old school bartenders. And so maybe they didn't go back into the industry. And then you had to you had to quickly hire and you had to quickly just refill all your spots. And
It's going to be like college athletes.
yeah.
Those.
I totally understand what you mean.
I'll explain it to you, Andy. Don't
God.
worry. Just wait a minute. Carl's
You heard
sitting
the
here
word
with
college
bated breath.
and he was like,
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting.
So during COVID, all these college athletes didn't play. Or if they did play, they played 5 games a season. And now they're all going into the professional sports, and they fucking suck because they didn't get the college training experience. That's the same thing with bartending.
But they had
Right now.
a great 5 games, and so
If
people
that-
are I guess they're the
If
number
even
one
that,
pick.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you can look.
Yeah.
Most of the number one picks in the last couple of years of sports aren't that great right now.
Yeah.
And they're young, but whatever. But that's the same thing I think bartending right now.
Yeah.
It's COVID. There wasn't a lot of bartending.
Yeah.
Or it was stay 45 feet away from me and fucking throw me a perfect spiral beer bottle.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of learning that. The people
Yeah.
that would have learned and gotten better didn't have to learn to get better, and now they
Right.
don't know how to shake a drink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what drink should be shaken?
Anything with more than one ingredient.
Not a beer.
Not a beer?
Not a beer.
Depends on
Or
how you feel
club
Right,
about the
depends on
person.
the guy.
I
Yeah.
had, I had club soda blow up on me when we were
Any
recording.
non-carbonating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, again, I just, I don't know. I think I forget. I remember where we were at. I won't say anything, but we were just.
I don't know if I do
hardcore-
remember which place I was at.
I mean, I could list all the places
Yeah.
we went to, but
I also don't know if I can do that either.
but like I remember just like you and me were just like we were being so hardcore annoying to ourselves and just
And
like
probably
observing
everyone around us.
everyone, and like oh look what they're doing, look what what they're doing, and
Yep.
it just was. We were like, why are they doing that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, and I think again, it's just inexperience, and then not having the time in the restaurant to train those extra steps before they are live on the floor.
Well, Karl always says that he can train them to do stuff. It's a
Right.
personality thing.
They just have to want to do it.
But yeah,
But you have to
like,
train 'em.
And
Yeah.
but it's also one of those like when you're kind of in the heat of the season and everyone's been so shorthanded
Yeah.
that when like do you be like, all right, on the Monday that we're closed, we're gonna bring the
Yeah.
bartending staff in for training. Like when are you like, okay, we need some training?
Well, I guess it's the environment. Like here, again, like we're quick service. We're just, our cocktail menu I make specifically to be not difficult. So like they might be unique, and we make our own. We'll make a syrup, or we'll make a puree, or we'll make it so that you can't just buy it at the store. That kind of unique, but at the same time, there's not like 16 steps, and there's not like 12 ingredients.
You don't have like the torch where you're like
Yeah,
smoking the
exactly.
cocktail
No.
under glass.
So it
You
depends
think
on your
Jess is allowed to
environment.
put a fire?
Yeah, absolutely not. So I
Carl
guess
doesn't
it's
let her
a-
use
it's
those
your
fake candles
environment.
anymore.
You can't use fake candles.
And that's what I just said.
We use sternos at the tables.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about like the light, like the battery operated candles that look like they're real. That,
Oh yeah. I know what
you let Jess use Sternos?
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. We like
It's
the
for the
chemical
s'mores.
You
smell.
really
For the
want that
s'mores, we do
insurance money.
tableside.
But if you're a place that you can take the extra time to train people, like here we just require like 3-4 training shifts if you have experience. If you don't, maybe a little longer. But like there's some places where they know that there's a million steps to their service, so they'll train for like 3 weeks, a month,
I
and
think
then
it's
that's what's
tough.
going to teach you like the extra stuff.
It's tough to say everyone trains for 4 shifts where like you might need more than 4
Right.
shifts.
Right.
Carl needs 47 shifts.
Right.
But
just
if
to
you
tie
need
his
somebody
shoes.
for more shifts to train, then maybe that's not the right person.
right.
Yes and no. Like I think like if they can't.
I suppose it depends on
Right.
their background.
It depends
too.
like what they're struggling with doing.
Yeah.
That, like so.
Yeah.
But I also think too our big problem that we're all doing is short staff. We don't check a fucking single reference anymore. Do you? Do you?
We do.
I mean,
For every position?
No.
right.
For bartending?
For bartending, for kitchen.
If it's for a bartender that I know,
If
I
you
mean,
know
well,
the person
yeah.
or you know the
Yeah.
bar that they used to work with,
Yeah.
you're familiar with them, I won't.
So if you just know the bar, you won't check a reference? Or like will you do like an unofficial reference check like, hey,
right?
Dan?
No,
Is this person not shaking
I'll get the
cocktail?
3 references.
Okay.
If I know somebody, I'll definitely call
Yeah.
Right.
and say, hey, listen, Joe used to work for you.
Yeah.
How was he?
Yep.
But the problem is you can only say so much in the answer to that.
Well, no, you can say a lot in the way you answer.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, like,
What you're legally allowed to say is
Right.
yes, they worked here. Yes, they gave their notice, and whether or not you would hire them again.
Right.
Well, I think that's the most telling question.
Right.
Yes, it
going on
is.
right there.
Yeah.
Right.
If that's a no to that, then that's probably no to.
But that's
Right.
also so tricky because if it's like a personality thing, like when they're like, no, I'd never hire that person again.
right.
Is it the person who's doing the hiring or is it the person that was working there?
yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah, I usually will do a little digging into social media and see
Yeah.
if I know somebody that knows somebody that
Yep.
whatever.
So you can
If-
kind of
if-
be like down,
Yeah.
off the record.
Yeah, exactly. But again, we just recently hired someone that had 0 restaurant experience at all whatsoever, and she's doing amazing. She's doing great. It's her personality that really,
Yep.
kind of took me off. So like, who's to say you can't hire someone with zero restaurant
Oh,
experience?
yeah, I have
you
some
know?
great
Yeah.
servers that had zero before.
Right.
And I remember everyone's like, this person's never done this job before. I'm like, well, give them a
Right.
chance.
Yeah, that's.
But then I've had people that have worked at bars forever that I'm like, you ain't that good.
I know. Yeah,
Right.
it's true. Yeah,
Because
it's
they've
definitely
developed
true.
bad habits.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's tough to get out of the bad habits.
Oh, yeah.
Because the bartender knows everything. Just ask him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we recently had somebody like a few months back that we hired, and they no longer work with us, but they just thought they knew everything, and I'm like. I've been in the industry for like 10 years longer than you, and I don't even know everything.
Yeah.
I was like, you're always
Nobody knows
learning.
everything.
Yeah. So,
Except for AI. Except for how to make a cocktail.
yeah, right. AI does not know how to
Great
make a
cocktail
cocktail.
recipes there. Thanks, GPT.
That's a
Oh, no.
teaser for the next day drinking.
Day
No,
drinking.
no.
But like I've been on the customer side of the bar during someone's clearly training shift.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, a lot of times they'll be like, "Oh, what do you have?" And you'll be like, "I'll just have a beer or whatever." And they're like, "Oh," because they want to learn.
I really
you know?
wanted
Yeah.
to make something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember there was one time at a local bar when girls training, and I'm like, I'm not a big mixed drink person. I'm like, but can you do a black and tan? And she's like, oh, I can. And she walked over and started like pouring the Guinness. I'm like, or not.
That's happened to me.
Or
I'm
you
like,
can.
I'll just have the full Guinness,
Yeah,
please.
just pour the
Full
Guinness. Yeah,
Guinness.
Yep. Serves it to you. Looks like
Yeah.
mud. I'm like, thanks.
But there's been, a lot of bars that you go to, especially everybody that's in the restaurant industry. When you go out, you can do nothing but check out how that place is run.
Right.
That person's been waiting 5 minutes. And this guy's
Yeah.
got an
Oh,
empty
yeah,
beer
we
and,
were. Yeah.
The bartender's over there shooting the shit with the bar back. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
But so you can judge. But there was times that I've seen somebody make a drink and talk about heavy-handed. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's like a triple
Yeah.
in a glass.
Yeah.
And
I had a couple of those on Monday.
Yeah.
and it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
It takes the fun out of the drink.
Yeah.
I don't agree when people say, you short poured me because I can't taste the alcohol. If you make
I
a
know.
perfect drink, you shouldn't
can't
be
take
tasting
the alcohol.
Well, some-
Yep.
You shouldn't taste the
I
alcohol.
was making them during one of the
Yeah.
day drinkings, and I think it was Jack was like, "Andy, you make a perfect drink." She's like, "I can't taste the alcohol."
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm like, "Yeah, try that at a bar." 'cause
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, meh, meh, meh.
Yeah. No, it's true. I'd rather put the time and effort into training somebody how to bartend to make a drink correctly than be like, okay, now we're going to do these 1,200 steps that are really not going to matter to this cocktail. Like, I just would rather.
Yeah. Most
know?
drinks aren't supposed to taste like gasoline.
Yeah.
And if they are, you can go get it cheaper at the pump. So,
I don't know. Can you though right now?
Not really.
Eh,
I mean,
slowly but surely
quick
it's
shot.
going back down. Yeah. A quick shot. Yeah.
But the other thing is, it's like you can like if you wanted to be a good bartender,
Yeah.
like you can sort of practice at home, but not really. I mean, you can like work the
you're right.
recipes out.
You're right.
You
Yeah,
can work on your
right.
pour, but like
Right,
once
you
you're
can-
behind
it's
there,
all
But you-
memory, on what goes into what. But
Yeah. I mean, you
can't
can.
practice making.
Right. You can't physically practice making
Yeah.
a drink, but you can do your own research. I
Right,
mean, you
right.
can do your own studying
yeah,
at
that's
home.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like you can work on like recipes,
Yeah.
but you can't. Like even if you set up your counter, like when
Yeah.
you watch a really good bartender making drinks when the place is busy, it's like, how do you even know that's where the rum is? Like they're like they're
yeah.
not even looking where they're reaching. They're just
Yeah.
so like accustomed to where everything is.
Yeah. Well,
and-
yeah, where it is for them. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
look, plus, how many times at your house, like you have a bar at your house?
Yep.
Do you have a bar at your house?
No.
No. Do you have a bar at your house? I have a cabin full of just booze.
Okay.
But like,
We have
I
a
don't
bar.
have,
We have the bar at the office.
but like, we don't have all the stuff you would need to make
Yeah.
these drinks. Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna buy a fucking bottle of triple sec or
Yeah.
Right.
peach schnapps and
Yeah.
all that shit because I'm never gonna use it.
Yeah.
Like, it just takes up space.
You stop by the office.
I was
Yeah,
going to
so
say,
bar-
yeah.
Well, yeah,
you have all the
You have your
leftover
traveling
liquor from
fucking red wagon.
Yeah.
No, it's all from day drinking.
That's what I meant by
Yeah.
traveling red wagon.
Sorry.
But on the flip side of that, I think the other part of the conversation we had the other day was customers have absolutely no idea what they're drinking and what they're ordering.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I guess does it really need to be? Because if you
How
don't
many
know, what
times
you-
have you got can I get a Tito's and vodka?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep.
Or what was terrible that I saw the other day was, well, actually, somebody ordered it for me. I don't know, a couple.
Was this what you
couple
were
months
complaining
ago.
about during filming?
I have no idea.
Okay.
They're probably not.
Can't keep track. Of
I
all
have-
the
I
points
have no idea.
we
Yeah,
have
it's
from
true.
It
that
was
day.
about a virgin cocktail.
No, absolutely
okay.
no. But they ordered a margarita with Tito's. And so this was back. Yep. Okay. So this was in the back
Just a
bar.
vodka sour, isn't it?
And I kept saying, a margarita with Tito's? And she's like, yep, margarita with Tito's. And I went, so Tito's is vodka. And she's like, okay. And then she you could see she started to second guess herself. And I was like, did you mean like a specific tequila? And she's like, oh, well, no, I saw it once, like whatever, the Tito's margarita. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I don't know where you saw that, but that's 100% wrong. I'm like, I'll make it for you. If that's what you want, I'll make it.
Canned
No,
margarita.
you know what it was?
What?
TikTok.
Yellowstone. The TV show Yellowstone. There's an episode where they're sitting at the bar and the girl orders a Tito's margarita. And I went, son of a bitch. They could, and then
And
Matt
the show didn't make fun of her?
and then Matt goes, well, that's product placement. I go, yeah, but get the product right. Like,
Right.
just have her order a Tito's and soda. Why? Like, so I was like, oh, all right. Well, again, people have absolutely no idea what they're drinking or what they're ordering.
Inside joke.
In the show, it definitely wasn't. It
No,
was,
but I mean like a writer being like, oh, when I was a
Right.
bartender, fucking people ask
yeah,
me.
I was
Maybe.
like,
Yeah.
I would do that.
and then I did
Yeah.
see it again on TikTok, but it was somebody making fun of them doing the exact same thing, ordering a Tito's margarita. I'm like, that's where it's coming from. Like, can everyone just shut the fuck up and order a regular margarita? Or a Virgin Cape Codder. Okay, then I'll just have cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows what's in a drink unless the list is in front of them. And if you just know that you like the taste of something specific, then just say, hey, I'd like a Tito's with sour mix and,
But
you know what I mean? Like,
I'll counterpoint to that, and I hate to defend this person. It takes way more time for them to say that to you than to say Tito's
right, but I'm just
margarita.
saying
Yeah.
if they know, which clearly that woman did not know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just trying to
Well,
say.
I can't teach all the ignorant people.
Right, exactly, and neither can I. But I'm just saying.
There's a big difference between a cranberry vodka and a vodka with cranberry.
Yes.
Yep.
Because I'll have to reiterate.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want a
Right.
cranberry vodka,
Right.
or
So
do
you
you
bring
want
over
a
the cranberry
vodka?
vodka, they're like, what is this?
Yep.
It's
Yep.
cranberry vodka.
Yeah.
No, I want vodka with cranberry juice.
I'm like,
That's
you
not
said
what you ordered.
cranberry
Yeah.
vodka? Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're like, yo, bro, I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic. And then you're like,
Then you're like, well,
get out.
Yeah.
We don't serve your kind here.
Whoa, Carl.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think customers have no idea what they're drinking.
No,
Unless
that's-
it's a Bud
That's
Light.
TikTok's fault.
It is that.
And
that
kinda
could be
Well,
Sure.
let's
true.
go.
I mean,
Let's go back
it's
on
like
that a little
marketing,
bit.
too.
That's what I was just about to say. A genius thing to do is call a regular drink something fancy, something stupid,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and people will order it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But even like the best market is like when you become the name of a whole alcohol. Like right now.
Well, like Tito's.
yeah, Tito
Yeah,
soda.
yep.
That's what
Yeah.
Like,
people just walk up and say Tito soda.
Right.
Like, I wonder if you did like one of those Jay Leno walk down the street surveys and ask people in like, what kind of alcohol is Tito's? I wonder like
Yeah.
what the
Yep.
percentage would be
Well,
like.
the thing
I don't
that
know.
is
Yeah.
killing all these micro distilleries that are making vodkas
Mm-hmm.
is they'll come into the bar and say, geez, can you sell my vodka? And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, what do
Yeah.
you mean you can't? I said, because when we're busy and people are asking for a Tito's and soda, I'm not stopped to say, well, I've
right.
got this craft vodka
Yep.
instead.
Yeah.
I got 5 other people that just lined up behind the guy. You're getting
Yep.
your Tito's
Yeah.
and soda and I'm seeing you later.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do it.
for a vodka soda.
Not many.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many.
We get it, but that's because we serve children. No. But it just depends. Like if I think when you have a younger core, you'll get just like the name, and then they eventually learn
Yeah.
that they don't want to drink well vodka.
Yeah.
And then that's because like
Yeah.
we sell.
I think it's like 70-30. I
Well,
think
the-
you get
the
like
other
30%
thing-
of people just saying vodka and the other 70 are saying Tito's.
The other thing is it can be like you got to learn like
Yeah.
whiskey and rye. And
Yeah.
like some of it you got to really like. I'm still trying to figure out all that shit.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, it's this. Sorry, fish.
Well, and that's the other part of training when you hire somebody
Yeah.
is, I mean, if you really wanted to train somebody and teach them everything in that's basic, I mean, you'd be training them forever. I mean, it's just
We're still
like
training
I'm
them.
still,
That's
yeah. I mean,
I mean, you could really, actually, we don't do this, but I'm sure other places do, is just give them a written test.
Yeah.
What's,
Yeah.
what's,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
in a margarita?
But the problem with
What is the
that,
difference between whiskey
the
and
problem
rye?
with that on both
What's-
sides, because I've given them and I've taken them, is as someone who takes them, I just know they're going to forget it by the time they pass the test.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a, I'm a doer. Like I have to make the drink, or I have to like read about it or whatever to like absorb that information. For me to just write a test about it, I'd be like, I forget it in like
Yeah,
a
but
day.
it's the simplest thing. I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
could
I
say,
know.
What's in a Cape Codder?
Right.
That's
Right.
it. Just
Yeah. So
No,
I
but
think that
what-
works for cocktails.
Yeah,
For your
correct.
cocktail, but
Correct.
not like
Right.
the base spirits, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just-
I mean, this is kind of
well, I guess it
terrible.
all
This
depends
is-
on what kind of bar you are.
Yeah, right,
True.
right.
Yeah.
This is slightly terrible to say, but I guess I'll say it. It's not a negative thing, but it's just odd. At the British Beer Company, I had to hold a course on beer because people didn't understand the difference between a stout and a porter or a lager and an ale. And like when people would come to a beer place and they'd want to engage with my servers and bartenders about beer and they didn't know anything about it, I had to do a whole course on it.
Yeah, but I think because I also work for said company.
Right.
And when we were doing those classes, I think the craft beer boom was just starting.
Just started.
Yeah.
Correct.
So like
Right.
I kind of like
But-
I think it's better that you did that.
Right.
Than just
Yeah,
say,
like
"Fuck,"
I
because
did
you
one
can't
just
sit-
from my
don't think you
staff.
could do it anymore.
Yeah.
No, I
No,
don't think you really need
no.
to do it
But
much
but
anymore.
this is the thing is like so many craft beer companies are trying to separate themselves in some way or the other.
Yep.
That you get people, oh, what's an IPA, what's
Yeah.
a porter, what's a
Yeah.
stout. Like working at the beer cellar, people be like, "What's a California surf lager?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Fuck if I know, man."
Yeah.
We already went over this 3 episodes ago. It's a lager you drink while you surf.
Right.
In California.
But also, it doesn't just go into the beer realm, but it goes into
Wine.
wine, bourbons, whiskey.
Yep.
and wine is very much like,
what's a rye whiskey? What's the difference
Yeah.
between? It's just there's so many things, like you said, and now I guess people are trying to differentiate themselves, so there's more to learn about. So it's hard to keep up sometimes.
Absolutely,
Like I know for a fact, like bourbon, scotch, and whiskeys, those are my weaknesses. I don't really know much about them. I've never worked at a place where I've really cared to dive into it. But recently one of my bartenders just said to me, they're like, we're having people ask about them, so can we get more? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know much about it. So
got you, dog.
word. I'll just go call
Word.
you.
See, that's something that like I really enjoy old fashions, and like I don't know enough about it. And
Right.
you'll walk into a place and you'll be like, "I have an old fashioned," and they're like, "Well, what do you want?"
Yeah.
So-
And I always go with the one that I know, like a Tito.
Yeah,
Like I was
right,
going
right.
Bullet
You said
Bourbon.
Tito's
Tito's
old fashioned.
old-fashioned.
But I go with Bullet. I go with Bullet Bourbon because I know I like it.
Yeah.
And I know it's not like crazy top shelf that they
Yeah.
can be like, "Oh, your cocktail is $45,000." And
Yeah.
you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I lucked out to learn all that stuff. Like I had 2 ways that I learned about all the whiskey.
Drinking.
3. They all involve drinking. But the first I learned about Irish whiskey is I went to a whiskey dinner. And we had
yeah.
an awesome person that was from the Jameson Middleton distillery, and they went through
Oh,
all
that's
that.
cool.
So I learned like it's not just Jameson in the world.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
so much better stuff. And then I went to Scotland, and I went through one of the distillery, which is reasonable to say you need to go to Scotland to learn about Scotch.
Yeah.
But I had no fucking idea how, like, because I always know Scotch is either smoky or it's not smoky, but it's not. It's based on like where it's made. I learned that from taking a field trip there.
Right.
And then the other way is there used, and it could still be there in Somerville. There's the Speakeasy Whiskey Bar Saloon, and I had an awesome bartender that like she had a notebook, and she's like, so me and my buddy would go in probably once a month and like, tell us about this. And
Yeah.
she
Oh, that's
taught
cool.
us like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We would just try something new. So you means trying it, and then
So that
Yeah.
bartender wasn't very busy.
we would go on like a Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I found
but
my-
sure, like we would go on a Saturday, and I would not.
Right,
It'd be unreasonable for me to
right.
expect that, even if it's the same bartender.
Right.
I fell in love with old fashions here at the New World Tavern because you guys way back had like a build your own old fashioned with like different bitters and
Oh, that's a good
whatnot. And
idea.
like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You guys should bring that back.
I had somebody
Doesn't
order
mean-
about a couple months ago a Don Julio old fashioned, and they were actually serious.
Well,
I was like,
Honey
this is
Baby, Honey Baby up the street does some sort of like
tequila
I think it's a
old-fashioned?
Oaxacan something,
Ugh.
but it's delicious.
You could probably, if you did it like an anejo, you could get away with it.
Yeah.
because it's
No, they wanted Blanco
that's
specifically.
fucking gross.
I know.
But like,
But then, like,
even
another thing,
mezcal, I
like, a
could
lot of
see-
staff, they don't know, like, what's the difference between a Reposado, a Blanco, and Gold? And then you have mezcals, and you have, like, it's an ever-growing industry, obviously, so everyone's always learning. But, like, the basics is what really should be Like was what we were experiencing
So
the other
what
day.
are the basics that every bartender needs to know? What to shake, what not to shake.
Right. That's
Yep.
that's actually probably one of the more common
That's
ones
probably
that you
the
see.
best thing
yeah.
you should learn.
Yeah.
Fake it till you
like,
make it. As long as it looks kind of right,
How to pour
it'll be okay.
how to pour a Guinness.
confidently.
How to pour a Guinness.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's always a place I feel like, Karl, you probably see it all the time where they don't pour it accurately. They don't pour
Yeah.
it right. How to build a cocktail. Sometimes a lot of people will do soda first and then the liquor on top. And I'm like, okay, well then how do you know that that's balanced, right? If you like say you put too much soda and then you put the liquor on top and then,
Yep.
I didn't have enough room for the
the
correct
liquor,
pour
yeah.
amount.
Well,
Like,
not to mention the soda. The more you add into it, the agitated it gets.
yeah,
Flatter and flatter,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Explodes.
Stir, when to like stir something.
And what's the basic drinks they should know how to make? Margarita?
Yep.
Margarita, a regular
Cape Codder.
regular martini, a regular Manhattan,
Yep.
old fashioned. Well, because a Cape Codder, you can know how to make a Cape Codder.
Yeah.
It's just what it's called, right?
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
like, or like the difference between a Bay Breeze and a Sea Breeze.
That
That will
shit
forever
fucks me up.
crisscross my mind. Like, I have to think about. I'm like,
They
okay.
both get orange juice because you can't tell the difference.
Well, in my mind, like a trick was like for like I don't know why, but like pineapples grow on the bay, which is totally not
So,
true.
I knew
But that's how you remember it.
But that's how I
And
remember
I was
it.
trying to remember it, but I was like, wait. well,
Do they grow
by
on
the
the
sea or by the bay? I don't fucking know. I can see a pineapple going either way. So
Is it a sea bay
That
or
should
a
be-
freshwater
Yeah,
bay?
That trick worked for me.
What's
for
a bay?
Yeah. So like those, I mean, we could go on and on with that kind of basics, but yeah, like
Yeah, it's weird, like to say what's a cocktail everyone should know because it depends where you work. Like,
True.
we don't make at Stats. We don't make all that stuff. But like, it's more like our specialty cocktails. That
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
need to learn how to make the right way.
Yeah.
And the same thing, I'm sure here. It's like what you guys make here is probably different than what they make across
Yeah.
the street.
or even if you don't know how to specifically build something to the point of like I know exactly how many ounces go in this type of thing, as long as you know what it's supposed to taste like, that's
Yeah.
another way that like if you know that some sort of fruity martini is supposed to taste fruity, maybe hold back on the plain tasting vodka and add more like fruit stuff to it. Like it's so like learning how to build a cocktail just on taste too. It's not
So let's say,
like
what flavors go with
Are you,
what.
Yeah.
Are you guys pro or con on measured drinks versus poured drinks?
With like measured with like the jiggers.
the jiggers. I guess it depends because I've worked in
Yeah.
places where like it's worked both ways.
It should be the same both ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. It should be
Your
the same
count
bullshit.
should
I
equal
think
whatever
that
you're
comes
trying
with
to pour.
experience, though.
It does.
Well, I mean, like there's places where they want that cocktail to be perfectly balanced and any extra ounce, half ounce is going to throw off the balance of the drink. So they have to use jiggers and they have to make sure that it's made the exact same way every single time. Those are places that'll be using jiggers, unless you're at a corporate place where they're doing it for,
Cost.
inventory
Inventory, yeah.
purposes. But like,
I'm
I
beyond
don't
the point
know.
where I give a fuck like if you use a jigger or not with my drink.
Right.
Like, and I remember younger, I was like, dude, I don't want to go there. They measure my drink.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Well, now I'm
yeah.
an adult and I understand why.
right.
And if I need to get drunk that fast, I'll just go do an episode of Day Drinking.
Right.
But it's true. I mean, when I go out for a drink, I don't want to get hammered.
Right.
I'm out
Well,
with my
sometimes
wife
I
sitting
do.
at the bar. I just want
Right.
to have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm out all night, I want to get hammered, but
Right.
not off 2 drinks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I'm not out all night.
That's
or
right.
I am and I shouldn't be.
Or you are and you don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's just a lot of basic stuff that I feel like is lacking in some of the places that I see too. So that's I think that's the conversation we were having.
But do you
the
notice
other
it
day.
because you're a bartender? And into the rest
Oh yeah, like I don't think it's stuff that like
Or
a basic,
does
like
Joe
a regular.
Schmo notice?
I don't think so.
I think
Some of it I don't
the
think so.
shaking drink stuff
Yeah.
you would notice because you can tell when it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing. That's the main reason you shake it.
Yeah.
Like you can stir it, you can do the straw and it could taste fine.
Right.
But like if you get a drink and you just see it swirling around, that's
Yeah.
looks like shit.
Yeah. But yeah, like if you get a vodka martini and it's cloudy, that's a problem.
Yeah,
But
just-
it's also, I think, one of those things where Joe average just
Yeah.
drinks to drink, isn't a cocktail aficionado,
Right.
isn't going to consciously notice.
They're probably not also ordering that drink though.
Right. Well, but I mean, like someone that's going to drink that martini, they're going to order a martini, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, it tastes fine, whatever." But then they're going to go to like a place that it specializes in cocktails and be like, "Oh my god, it was so nice."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You
So-
don't need to make a drink to be like that super cocktail bar, but
Right.
you
can still make
be able
a
to make
solid
a drink so
drink,
it
yeah.
tastes good.
Yeah.
Where they'll order another one.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, and that's the thing is you get a cup full of something that looks terrible. Like, I'm not gonna get another one now.
Yeah. We actually,
Unless I'm blackout drunk and then I don't even know what I'm drinking.
I mean, you didn't order another one of those pickle drinks.
Does it look like shit?
we didn't order it to begin with.
Little teaser. I poured it out, and literally as I'm pouring out the first one, I went, "Oh no!"
But another basic thing, I guess, I just had a conversation with my staff this past weekend about building a drink in a glass in the appropriate glass. So like we have big like goblet margarita glasses here, but there's one margarita that's on our specialty cocktail menu that should be made in a pint glass because if you don't, it's gonna taste like shit. Just the syrups that are in it, then you're gonna end up with putting too much syrup of this, and then it's gonna be tart and like whatever. So I just had to go over like. You can't just throw everything in a pint glass. Some stuff does have its own glass so that it tastes appropriately too. That's not, that's not really a tough thing to ask your staff, but it does make a difference.
So you still have to let them
Yeah,
know.
and it does make a difference. So, that customer that would order the honey rose margarita that we have at New World, like they're not going to know that it's supposed to taste like this in a pint glass if they get this big shitty margarita glass and it tastes like crap, and then they're not going to trust their bartender, and then they're not going to trust them to make something else, and then just like, I'll just have a Bud Light.
Let's get a Tito's margarita.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Can I get
do
a tequila
better.
Cape Codder?
That'd be awful.
That would be gross. That would be gross. I don't know. What else? Do we have questions?
I mean, we can. Give me a second.
Oh, damn.
Listen, I steered
Sorry.
this episode as much
That's
as I
true.
can. This,
But didn't bring any questions. Thanks a lot.
How about garnishes? What are you guys' feelings on garnishes? Like you have places that have these
I
extravagant
fucking
garnishes.
personally could live without a garnish on my drink.
I agree.
I don't put the lime wedges in my drinks. I don't want a fucking rose.
See,
made
now,
out
I don't
of-
mind.
Well, we know you want the
Yeah,
umbrella.
No, but I'm talking about
Yeah, I
like
don't mind, a strawberry, little piece of pineapple and orange.
yeah. But I'm talking about
all in
like the
plastic
big
sword.
plastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need it though. Like I'm not eating it, and not. It more likely just sits still on the edge of my glass. So like, if given the option, I say keep the fruit, keep Karl.
I always do that with like I don't get the orange and
Blue
Blue
Moon.
Moon.
I don't
Right.
either.
Yeah.
Like it's
No, that's marketing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
I
all it
always
is.
like Blue Moon, no fruit.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing with the Guinness pour. And
Yeah.
People are going to go on an uproar because I said this. If you poured a Guinness pour straight through in a pint glass and poured what they call a perfect pour in a Guinness glass, didn't show the customer which one was which and said, tell me which one was a quick pour and which
Yeah.
one
You
was
would
the...
never know.
Nobody would ever know.
Yeah. Yep.
Nobody would ever know. It's all a gimmick.
Yeah. Right.
and that's all most garnishes are.
Right.
But I go to a bar and they don't do it. I'm like, ooh, this fucking person doesn't know what they're doing.
Knocked off the bar.
Yeah. If I go and I get a Guinness in a pint glass, I'm
Well,
put off by it.
yeah. That's true.
But that's just being a
yeah.
snob.
Yeah.
What are your feelings? Do you ever get a Guinness in a plastic cup?
Oh, he don't
Is
need
it,
don't.
is
Yeah.
it
Don't
St.
talk to him
Patrick's Day?
about
Because
that.
I'll take 32 of them.
Yeah.
What if it's like a beach bar?
I would
you
say
like
you shouldn't be
feeling-
pouring Guinness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a beach
what if-
bar. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, but right,
It
it's just
depends on the
awkward.
situation.
Yep.
Like a place
Probably
that
would
doesn't
be.
have glass.
I would probably,
yeah,
if I was at a beach bar, I'd be getting the Hawaiian punch drinks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The tiki drinks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't be getting a Guinness.
What if it was like nighttime and it's not your outside bar and they have plastic cup Guinness?
Yeah, I probably would get something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, would you drink the first one?
Oh,
Would you
yeah.
say-
Yeah.
I'm not a big Guinness can person either. I don't
Nah.
No.
Yeah, it's different. But what about like how like when they do these fancy cocktails and they have like an orange rind and they like just it's like a whisper of orange zest goes floating in the general vicinity of the cocktail.
And they waft the glass. In the
Yeah.
air to try to catch it.
Like all that extra stuff to me just seems pointless.
The whole
Like
spirits.
It's one of those things. Like I've had those type of things where it's absolutely amazing, And then I've had other times where you're like,
Is
I can't
it-
taste the orange, and it's like if you don't have the right orange,
Yeah.
like that orange
is
not
it
super
the
right.
orange the drink that's amazing, or was it the like the presentation of like this this extravagant, Cirque du Soleil
No, 'cause
of cocktails?
It wasn't overly extravagant.
Okay.
But like they did the little spurt and they kind of like rimmed the glass with orange, and it was in I can remember we were going to see Dara O'Brien. He's an Irish comedian, but I don't remember the name of the place. I think it was Somerville, and it was the best old fashioned I ever had.
But did you have it again at that exact same spot, and it was different, or you had it?
I've never been back there.
Gotcha.
But it was one of those like I feel like it's all how ripe is that orange? Like if
Right.
you have like a kind of an old crappy orange, you're not gonna get that kind of like.
Yeah,
little,
that sounds like too much for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be squeezing my oranges.
I could drink.
Well, I'm
a
just trying to
fucking
figure out
drink
which is
out
ripe
of this
enough as I go. Like,
I agree.
metal cup and not give a shit. Like that's it. I don't care what.
but like, there's like all these different like salt rims, and like there's like black salt, and then there's like edible flowers, and
Yeah,
then
I don't
there's
need
like
that.
and
It looks cool. Don't get me wrong.
right.
Yep. But by the time you get it to the table, it blew off because
Yeah.
somebody got fire. And
Oh, especially like now it's in the summertime. The glass is sweating, so it's all
Yeah.
running down.
Yeah,
there. So
yeah.
like,
That's why I don't like. I remember when like pumpkin beers first came out, and they were
Oh,
glasses,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
At first, it was just cinnamon sugar, and then someone's like, "Oh, it's caramel and cinnamon and sugar," and then now like the glass is sweating and it's running down and stuck in my mustache.
yeah.
And I'm like, just keep, I don't need the rim thing.
it's
Yeah.
in your mustache, on your fucking hand, it's on your shirt, it's on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
you know?
it's everywhere.
Like
well, obviously, you're pouring the beer on.
No, it's just that it's sweating and it's the
Sweating.
caramel.
Why would
is
it be
just,
sweating? It's friggin' October.
because body heat.
Because we live in New England. So
Yeah, 'cause you never know.
30, 2 days apart.
And the pumpkin beer comes out.
I was just about to say, I'm like, you don't
You guys
think
just
that?
got your first delivery.
Yeah.
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 Keg comes with a sparkler.
All right, Jessica Clayton wants to know what is an appropriate time to stop seating before closing.
Closing the whole restaurant.
We need more information. on
Yeah,
that.
closing the whole restaurant, closing the kitchen.
Say if
Listen,
you
you
close.
asked if I had questions.
I know. I'm just
got a
look.
question.
Isn't this a discussion? God damn it! Fuck. What's the appropriate time to stop seating before the restaurant closes?
I mean,
if they're
do you
ordering
even
food,
stop? Like,
well,
if,
if
the restaurant's open.
well, if
then
you're
you can
ordering,
get seated.
right? If you're ordering
And it
food,
closes at last call.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Like
if
if-
you can come in and say, "Hey, listen, we're doing last call. Coming in for a drink."
yeah,
Yeah.
you can get one more, and then
Right.
yeah,
But
And you should
if it's
always
5
give that
of,
person that
then
warning.
sorry, we already called last
Yeah.
call, but you're not closed.
right,
Yep.
right. But if it's like so maybe it's like a place where the kitchen and the restaurant close at the exact same time. So if they want to get food and like, I mean, I'd say like 10 minutes. That's kind of what I used to have to do.
Before last call.
Before, like I will like if the kitchen closes in 10 minutes and someone wants something to eat and it's 10 minutes, I said, okay, fine. But just so you know, the kitchen closes in 10 minutes.
Right.
But like anything after that, it's just too close to be not feel like the customer's getting rushed.
Right.
Or like, they have time to still cook the
that's the
meal
kitchen, not
and
the
yeah, right. I'm just, but yeah,
Like the
that's,
kitchen, I think you could go right up until it closes, and they're not going to be happy in the kitchen that you fight.
well, I'm talking about a restaurant and a kitchen that close at
Yeah.
the same time. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you still have last call.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
you said that
Right.
last
Yeah.
call because you don't want, like you said, if they close, you don't want to put food in that takes 20 minutes to cook,
Right.
and they only have like 25 to be in there. So
Right.
You said you're fucking putting it in a blender and shoveling it in their
Right.
mouth.
And one of the best things I ever was told, and I don't know if it was a bullshit excuse or if it really is the way, like I showed up at this restaurant and they're like, do you want anything to eat? Because the computer shuts it down in like 10 minutes.
Ours takes like
Does the computer
Like
like,
the
shut
computer
it
we
shut
use
down?
toast, and
Yeah.
after a certain point, those buttons go away.
off?
So if you don't tell me your order by 9:59, you don't get that
Yeah.
fucking food.
So it's
Huh.
like, even if your system doesn't do it, that's a great like.
Because it's in the reason, not all of them do it, but there's always like, I'm sure you guys have all worked
Yeah.
at a place where, the kitchen's closed, and then 10 minutes later, the server
Yep.
brings in a pizza. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
the kitchen's been closed for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Or longer. So
Yeah.
that's why our buttons just disappear.
Yeah.
So that's not.
That's not
always
totally
the lie.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just it's one of those ways that you can't really get mad and be like, oh, like if you're like
Yeah.
the buttons disappear, I have
Yeah.
no.
Well, I feel like that was I feel like that's an excuse for if you're doing like a promo situation, so that you don't order it. Like, let's say it's like half price apps between 3 and 6.
Yeah, yeah.
So the buttons disappear after 6.
Right.
And so you're like, sorry, like I know you sat at 5:59, but I can't do it anymore. My computer literally won't let me.
Kat Dameron, what are some of your interview questions for front of house, and what responses are you looking for?
Well, that's extremely vague.
Do you speak English? Are you offended by dad jokes?
Dad jokes.
I don't think it's the dad
You mean
jokes,
dirty?
Karl.
I think it's the dirty jokes.
Dirty grandpa jokes.
Uh,
I always
mean,
ask if
that's-
you've been here before.
Yeah, that's
like, so
true.
you kind of know. 'Cause that's if you answers no, then I have a whole another string of things to go on. But yes, and I can cut off half that
Right.
because you want to know what they're getting into.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
I ask
one.
them for the front of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say, what's a good night, what's a great night, and what's a bad night tip-wise. And if they don't have the right answer, then
Yeah. It's
you know.
according to
Some people say, oh, yeah, I want to make $500 a night on tips. I say, well, so do I.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they're like, I want to make $500 on a Monday day. I'm like,
Right.
Yeah. No, that's a good
scratch
one.
tickets too.
I know, yeah. No, that's a good one. I mean, and then I guess just the basic,
Then you know
like,
that
do you have
if they're down to
experience?
earth, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, do you have, do you have
It's like
experience
managing
if you don't?
expectations, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it's getting the person to just talk and carry a
Yeah.
conversation because you can get a lot from that.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
how to do it.
I
They're,
would-
like really stop,
Yeah.
especially like in a.
Anytime I have an interview and I do 99% of the talking, which, I mean, I do a lot of talking anyway, but like if they don't say anything,
I know.
but if they don't
Breathing.
say anything, or if they're just like, just direct with their answers and my questions, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. Cause they could say,
You're really
they
feeling
could
out
say
their
a lot.
personality.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
You-
I think the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you can fake it for a little bit, but
Yep.
like,
yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty vague question. Otherwise,
do you have reliable transportation?
oh, that's always
That's
a good
really
one.
good one.
That's a neat
Because you can teach a nitwit, but you can't teach an asshole.
What does
I
that
don't
have to
know
do
if
with
that's good.
transportation?
I don't know. I was thinking about that before you talked about transportation.
Well, you can't teach
I
them
like
to-
it.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's
that's
an
true.
asshole, they're going to be an asshole. But
Yeah,
if someone's a
that's
nitwit, you can teach them how to do the job.
Can you though?
Depends on how nitwitty.
Nitwitty.
Depends on the job.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any like deal breakers? Like, oh, if this happens in an interview, because I've done a fair share of interviews, and just sometimes you're like, I had like an old guy answer his cell phone. And granted, he was like, "No, I'm busy right now."
Yeah.
But still, it's like,
Don't answer.
don't answer.
yeah.
You have
Yeah.
voicemail. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
I think if someone's kind of being cocky, I'll just kind of write them off no matter what they say.
If they demands a certain set schedule right out the gate, like, and it's not like, oh, this is my availability. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do this.
Right.
That's
Yeah, that's a good one.
it at
'cause-
least knock some points off for,
Yeah.
like, especially when the job requires a set amount of time. Like,
Yeah. Because
That's
even if
part
you
of it.
have those shifts available, what if somebody needs coverage or
Yeah, yep.
like the last minute call out or whatever, and they're like, nope, won't do it because it's not a
the way they
money-making
dress
night.
too. I was going to say looks, but I don't mean that. I mean the way they dress.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes in and they're wearing jeans that are ripped and just hanging off, and
Yeah.
you know they're not. I
Yeah,
don't wanna say dress.
appearance,
I don't
yeah.
expect anybody to dress up, but
Yeah.
at least look
Presentable.
neat.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
presentable.
yeah. That's true too.
That puts me off.
Yeah.
Because if they don't care about how they're presenting themselves,
right out the gate. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's only downhill from there. Like, this is your best you put forward.
And that's kind of my thing. It's like, if you can't hold your shit together for the 15 minutes
Yeah.
that I
Yeah,
interview you,
that's true.
there's no way.
If they start asking questions that are like, kind of like none of their business, then that throws me off too. And I mean that in like, if there's one thing to like let them know kind of what we like what we're busy or whatever, and that you're going to make pretty good money on these nights or whatever. It's another thing if someone's asking like, well, what does your bartender make on a Monday
Right.
day? And I'm like, well, I don't want to disclose
Yeah.
what their
You would come in
information
on
is,
Monday
but you
day,
could
you can ask
say,
them yourself.
I'll tell you what kills people dead in the water is when they come in and say, "Oh, this place is nice. I've never been in here before."
Yeah. Well, that's,
You're applying for
Yeah.
a job you've never even been in here before.
well, that's why I
yeah,
always ask. I'm like, have you
What kind
been
of
here
what kind of
before?
food do you
yeah,
serve?
Yep.
yep.
Well, didn't you do any research? Why do you want
Yeah.
to work here if you don't
Yeah.
know anything about us?
Yep.
Yeah, I've
then
had some
I'm
great
done.
interviews where they were like, yeah, I've never been here, but I looked at your website, I looked at your menu, I looked at what kind of cocktails you had. Like, so yeah, maybe they've never been here before, but they've like put
they
the
did-
work
they put a little
into
effort, yeah.
exactly, yeah.
I had one interview, and my boss at the time was sitting in, and went through the whole interview. I'm like, all right, it seems, in my head, I'm like, all right, this seems like someone who'll work out. Yeah, my boss is like, "Do you have any questions?" She's like, "Yeah, what is your sick time policy?"
Oh Lord, here we go.
Forget it. Like, who the fuck asked that? That was
Yeah.
like, wait for your first day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is last call.
All right.
Last call.
So that's the part where we go around and promote whatever we want to promote, I guess.
I guess.
Right?
I guess.
I don't know. I didn't plan this today.
I know. What? Stop. Keep saying it. Keep saying that you didn't plan it today.
Just doing it because Carl's all like, "What's this about?" I'm like,
I know. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, we understand.
All right.
We get it.
Okay. So, Carl, what's your last call then?
My last call is about interviewees. Show up a few minutes early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Pretend.
Present yourself well. Be comfortable. Because if you're not comfortable in an interview, you're not going to be comfortable behind the bar.
How do you hire anyone?
As I said, that's
I don't.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm for.
It's tough being comfortable.
I can't get these people to leave, for Christ's sakes.
Because you lock the doors.
Mahoney, what you got?
Well, first, the title of this episode is Dan Had a Good Idea. You're welcome, Fish. And you're welcome, you guys, for
I know,
steering
right?
this episode that we decided to block out.
Look, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. Look, if I knew I was going to have to plan it, I would have helped you. But I'm sorry.
What do you guys think costs more? To
This is last call.
Wait.
This isn't a question.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
going to go to my
Can
last
we?
call, all right? It's an interactive last call. What costs more, to rent a billboard or to sponsor a highway?
Oh.
Billboard.
A billboard?
I feel like a billboard, and it's probably worth what you're paying.
So, like, why don't I sponsor a highway and just write mean things on that? This
'Cause I
highway
don't
was
think-
adopted by Learn How to Drive, dickhead. And it's there. Is it there forever?
I think so.
Do I actually have to do anything to the highway?
I don't think
What if
so.
you just stop and put your own sign up?
I tried that.
Just make
People
your own
think
sign.
it's-
I actually tried that too in my neighborhood. It didn't work out well.
So someone let me know,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do it.
do it?
Yeah.
I think, a billboard, I think, is way better.
Is it, though?
I think
When
so.
was the last billboard you saw? What was on it?
Verilife, the dispensary.
I couldn't even
The-
tell you this highway sponsored by.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I can.
Oh, okay. Well, look, it's because
you're
you're
on the
stuck in
road all the
traffic
time.
all the time.
Exactly. Why don't you guys leave your fucking
All
town?
right, Jess, what's yours?
What's my last call? Mine's gonna be a hate last call, if that's all
I
right.
hate last call.
Yeah.
Breaking all the rules
If I
today. Questions, hate.
look,
Well,
sorry.
I didn't hate anything.
Absinthe. Can you please never fucking give me absinthe ever again? Because I'm 99.9% sure I had a small mental breakdown when I went home, and that had nothing to do with the fact that I was out for hours
I was
straight
gonna-
with
I'm
Dan.
like, you were drinking
Nope,
from like 10 in the
What
morning
about
to
those
10
absinthe?
at
It's
night.
it was the absinthe. It was
Absinthe.
the it was the absinthe.
Yeah.
Please.
It's like when I go to opening day and the next day I don't feel good and I say to my wife, oh, it must have been that hot dog.
Yeah.
It wasn't the 42
Yeah, exactly.
beers. It was the hot
It
dog.
was definitely the absinthe. So
Sure.
fuck what is
Andy?
what even is absinthe?
What's yours?
Would you even get
no.
it out of someone's trunk?
No, at the liquor store.
You can get everyone.
No,
Yeah, it's everywhere now.
I don't know.
Had a picture of Van Gogh on it.
No,
Came with
I'm
a
all
little
right. Nope.
absinthe spoon.
The bottle
Absinthe.
topper was in the air.
You sure it wasn't a Coke spoon?
Yeah. I hope so, because it was a big spoon. With holes in it. That wouldn't work. So I'm going to plug Bar Talk Day Drinking.
you
I'm
go.
not sure when the next episode.
You never know when anything's coming out.
well, because there's a
He
lot
wasn't
of.
prepared for today.
I wasn't
No, he's talking
prepared
about
for
the day
today,
drinking episode.
But I
He's just
also,
not prepared for
He's
anything.
at all.
but I'm also not sure like when the audio is going to be done,
Fish.
or like in comparison when this comes out. So, but there's
week.
like 9 episodes up already.
Yep.
7 or 9, something like that. So go
I'm
check
only in
that
5
out.
of them, so you only have to watch it.
The first ones are a little like technically rough, but we got a lot better. And I think that this new one coming up is going to be AI generated cocktails. It was a lot of fun for me because I
It's
didn't
not
drink any of that
fun for
shit.
Neither did me and Karl.
And there's absinthe in it, so
Yeah.
apparently absinthe public enemy number 1.
Yeah.
But you can find us on all your social medias at Bar Talk
Absence
Cast.
makes the heart grow.
Absinthe. Absinthe makes Jess cry at the end of the day.
Sadder.
So you can find us on all the social medias at Bar Talk Cast. You can email us with your questions, complaints, hate mail at bartalkcast@gmail.com. And we will be back in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Shake your drinks, bitches.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/inebriart to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at inebriart or at inebriart6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebriart, and all the other shows on the Inebriart Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. Thanks again for listening.